Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. This is me, Faria Jahan Prapti, and in today's class, I will be telling you guys about your speaking part in your IELTS exam. So, if you're watching this video, you already know that a speaking test in your IELTS exam is held before or after your other three tests. It's in a different date and in a different location. That's the usual thing. Anyway, so there are three parts of this test, and the first one is just a warm up. They will ask you really short questions, and you guys will have to give answers which range from 15 to 30 seconds. Here's an advice that I would give you guys: try to keep it short but detailed. Like, mention something unique. Here's another advice: try to keep a variation in your speaking. If the first question's answer was around 15 seconds, make the next one 30 or 35 seconds. That is gonna make you a bit different from the other candidates who would try their best to make it all sound the same or similar. It's just on instinct. So if the question requires a longer answer, try to give a longer answer. You will get it over time as you practice different sorts of topics. Now, the second part will be a bit harder than the first one, and this is considered the hardest part in your speaking exam. A lot of people struggle with it, and the main thing that I have struggled with was organization. So, let me give you guys a brief idea about what is gonna happen in your part two. So, in the part two of the speaking session, you guys will be given a minute and a topic, and you guys will be asked to speak for 2 minutes. The first 1 minute is obviously for you guys to take notes and write down whatever you need to be reminded of in order to speak for the whole 2 minutes. And another thing that I have seen a lot of people struggle with was to cover the whole 2 minutes. I suggest, like making a mind map and then just following through it. So you guys also have to make sure that you mention all three required points that will be given there. But anyways, after speaking for 2 minutes, the examiner will stop you and then he will move on to part three. In the part three of the session, they will ask you questions related to part two, and they are gonna have to be longer than the part one questions, obviously. So it is your duty to make sure that your answers range around 40 seconds to 1 minute and 20 seconds. That's the standard range, and yeah, if it is lower than that, then obviously the examiner will think that you are not that, fluent in English, and that is gonna cut down from your marks. Okay, so here is another trick that I've learned from my teachers. So if you are struggling with the length of part three question, you have to make a lot of options in your answer. So if they ask you about something, you have to describe two or three ideas. That is the ideal way for you to get a good score and make sure that you have met the time requirement. Anyways, so if you guys are able to do that, state three ideas and then describe them, not only will they understand that you're fluent, they would also get that you have very interesting ideas and a variety of them. However, do not do this in part one. That is gonna get you in trouble. Now, here's a few general advices for you guys. You can apply them to literally anything. Try not to make any grammatical mistakes. It will make you look very bad in front of your examiner. They will probably ignore one or two. However, it's better not to make any. If the structure confuses you, then avoid using it. The other thing, which is also related to grammar, is try to keep a variation in the way you speak. I believe I've mentioned that before. You have to get variation in everything. It doesn't matter if it is the timing, if it is the vocabulary, or if it is just the sentence structures. Try to use passive and active voices. Try your best to keep the variation there. It will make your speaking a lot more interesting and better. Also, try your best to avoid repetitions. The more you repeat, the more your band score is gonna go down. And also, I really want to suggest you guys using advanced vocabulary. But if you guys cannot really use them or cannot remember them, then it's alright. It is still alright for you guys to not use them. But yeah, if you want a score higher than 7, obviously you are gonna be needing that. And that is about the advices that I wanted to share with you guys. Maybe I will have more advices to share with you all in our next class. So see you next day. That's all for today. Thank you.